All right, thank you all for coming, and I just want to say that the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office recognizes the seriousness of this incident. Officer-involved shootings are among the most tragic situations faced by law enforcement and have a significant impact on deputies, families, and our greater community. The release of this video footage today is intended to provide transparency regarding the sequence of events based on currently available information. It is not intended to draw conclusions or interfere with the independent investigation being led by the Michigan State Police into this matter. We are also not releasing personal information related to the 911 callers or the deceased individual to respect privacy, as well as the family that is impacted by the situation. The Sheriff's Office appreciates the public's patience and understanding as we want to be respectful of this process. Members of the public are advised that the dash cam footage may be emotionally difficult to view. We also remind the public the footage represents a portion of total evidence and does not capture all the information considered during the investigation, and this is still an active investigation that is being conducted by Michigan State Police. Regardless of circumstances or what any investigation shows, any officer-involved shooting, especially where there is a loss of life, is devastating to all impacted, and we extend our deepest condolences and remain committed to fully cooperating with Michigan State Police in this matter in alignment with best practices. Additional information will be released when it is appropriate, and when doing so will not compromise the integrity of the ongoing investigation. And with that, I will take a couple of questions, and then we will share the video footage with you all. Yes?
Are 4 deputies still on leave, or has that number changed?
Yes, 4 deputies are still on administrative leave and will remain on leave while Michigan State Police is conducting their investigation.
Quick follow-up question to that. I saw in the statement provided that it sounds like multiple deputies fired shots. Are those 4 deputies believed to have all fired shots, or is that just kind of everybody that was on scene that day?
Those are the 4 deputies that are subject to the Michigan State Police investigation.
Can you go into where there was the miscommunication that informed officers that the victim had a shotgun with them during this pursuit?
So there were 2 911 calls involving the suspect vehicle in this incident. One of the 911 callers told dispatchers that their wife was threatened with a gun. When deputies were responding to the scene, they identified the suspect vehicle, and then as the vehicle pursuit ensued, towards the end, you hear on radio traffic, you hear deputies say over the air, shots fired, and because of police scanner apps, that information was public, and there was a lot of assumptions made from the radio traffic. And we, did not search the vehicle. We do not do that in these situations. Best practice is to turn everything over to the Michigan State Police. But given that that is an important part of the information, we also were able to gain information from the state police that there was not a firearm found in the vehicle, to which we then shared that information. We are doing our best to share the information we have at the time, and part of releasing this footage is to also make sure that the public has an accurate version of the timeline of events.
You said there were 2 911 calls. Can you clarify what the other one was?
So there was the first 911 call involving the suspect vehicle driving hazardously on the roadway, and then the second one was the call where the 911 caller said that the person threatened their wife with a handgun. We can take a couple more questions, and if you all have any. Yep, Rebecca.
So just from seeing at the end there where the van is overturned on its side, was there any rationale given to why they would say that, even though we couldn't see anything as it was overturned, why they would say someone has a gun and then so very quickly escalate to shooting, including shooting through the bottom of the vehicle?
So we don't have all of that information at this time because it's being led by Michigan State Police, and so I don't want to make any speculations as to what other evidence is available. What they were able to tell us was there wasn't a firearm, but they did not provide any more information. And so given that this is still preliminary, there's a lot of things that we just don't know at this time until their investigation concludes.
Sorry. Go ahead.
That caller who said that the gun was waved at his wife, was it did they have any other contact outside of like a car, or kind of how? I was a little confused a little bit about that part.
So the information that we have at this time is those 2 911 call audios that we shared.
Kind of a follow-up to that. That second 911 with the husband and wife, is it understood that that call came from another driver, or was that in a home? Was that clarified to dispatch at all?
What was clarified, what it was shown in the 911 call.
Okay. And then just a second question for you. Even if there are no charges, that are approved or anything like that, are there any plans at this time to have any sort of retraining for officers?
So what we are committed to doing, as we always do, is making sure that we continue our sheriff's office mission on, protecting and serving our community to the best of our ability to keep them safe. Nobody wants a situation like this to occur. This is a tragedy. We are respecting the process. Michigan State Police is doing their investigation, and when that concludes, we will then start looking at our administrative review.
What's a typical protocol when there's a rollover crash like that and no one has gotten outside the vehicle? What are officers typically trained to do in those situations?
So in those situations, they, the number one thing they're trained on is making sure the scene is secure. And, in that situation, it is a very volatile situation. I don't want to speculate as to, what they were, thinking at the time. And we still don't know all the information because Michigan State Police actually processed the scene and is doing all the investigation into that matter. And so I don't want to comment further on that.
Also, just for clarification, can we just get your name and your title, please?
Yes, my name is Sheriff Alicia Dyer. And that's ALYSHIA and then DYER with the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office.
Thank you.
It wasn't really clear from the video. Did the suspect vehicle or victim vehicle, that is, strike a Washtenaw County Sheriff's vehicle, or what caused the rollover?
So no deputies were injured. The video does appear like they got very close, but there was no deputies that were struck by the vehicle.
Was the crash, from what you can tell us, was the crash caused by an operation from the sheriff's vehicle or sheriff's department vehicle to try and stop the vehicle they were pursuing, or did it seem like it was initiated by the suspect?
So that is something that we do not want to comment on this time because Michigan State Police is doing that whole investigation.
Is there a timeline for the state's investigation, or is it just it's done when it's done?
It depends, and so I don't want to, I feel like that question should be directed at the state police.